Junior Rotax Primo. Junior Rotax Primo, what do I mean by that? Well, they're exactly the same karts as we've just seen racing in the Junior Rotax class. However, Junior Rotax Primo is for a class for slightly younger drivers. These are 12 to 14-year-old drivers, and it gives the karters, all right, you've got a lot of karters that come up through cadets, and they've been racing like 5-6 years, sometimes 10 years before they get anywhere near a Rotax Max. But this gives a driver that maybe is new to karting. They've maybe just gotten their Rotax kart. That's the age group that Junior Rotax caters for, 12 to 16. Well, the 12 to 14-year-olds now have an opportunity in the Kart Championship to race in the Junior Primo class. Find their feet. They're not in with the fast drivers in the Junior Rotax class. They get a chance to have their own race and basically learn all about karting and learn all about how to race before you transition at 14 into the Junior Rotax class. So it's a great idea, genius idea I call it, from the Kart Championship organisers. Don't know whose idea it was, whether it was Darren's, Matty's or Joe's. Whoever's taken the credit, well done, pat on the back, because this really works. We've just seen our current champion, the 2024 Junior Primo champion, out in Junior Rotax, Daniel Hartley. Not had a great weekend, but they're a massive advocate of this Junior Primo class. And if you want to hear all about it, if you go back to the last round at Warden Law, in fact it was the Winter Series round at Warden Law, I have an interesting conversation with Daniel's dad about this thing and why this was right for his son Daniel. And if you are thinking about, going into Junior Rotax karting and you haven't got any experience, this is really where you need to be. Absolutely is.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a perfect ground, to get yourself up to speed around drivers who are at the same part of their, oh dear, I'm going to sound so American now.
Development.
Development. You saved me from saying the J word.
J word?
Journey. On their karting journey. And then I was going to go outside and beat myself over the head for even saying it, but you saved me from saying development.
Don't stop believing.
Don't stop believing. Who knows?
Don't stop believing. That was my journey.
Oh yeah. No, and then mine was the end scene in The Sopranos.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, and then it fades to black, and there was a gun shop. We don't know. Did Tony Soprano buy it?
Let's have a look at the grid. I'm going to have to be quick.
Go karting.
Yeah,
yes.
I'll have to be quick. Elijah Hazelwood, glorious pole position. Score 5 points. That's an almost perfect score for him. Lewis Gilbert, the second. He's on the front row with him. Zach Jennings and Isaac Jameson are next up. Then we've got Alfie Forrester, Ronnie Legg on row 3. Aston Brown and Elijah Hartley. Cooper Campbell-Lee's current championship leader on 9th. Noah Clark 10th. Ethan Bath, Samuel Yeadon, Oscar Pitt, Oscar Shevich, Archie Ray Watson, Pierce Whitehead, Thomas Ambler, Josh Whittaker, Luke Wells, Thomas Butcher, Miles Cleworth, Harry Ward, Zach Mackay, Lily Shaw is 24th. Then we've got Noah Jones, George Ralston, Lucas Olofsson, Charlie Thompson and Jasper Oakes. 29 karts have qualified. 29 karts of what we got out there.
Excellent. Good work from them all. Now, Lewis Gilbert has been fast, but is, as a lot of these drivers are, prone to a moment or two of inconsistency. They come to the line.
Looks a good start, Henry.
Gilbert there gets X-carted out of the way. And there's a false start.
It's a false start.
Oh, and one of the TV karts has at the moment, that's the number 95 of Archie Ray Watson. But don't panic, that's not the one that you can win in the raffle. That's a
I don't really know what happened there.
That was him easing off because of the false start, and the driver behind not seeing the false start, and possibly giving himself a nose cone penalty before the start.
Yeah, that's true. True enough. Archie Ray Watson will be able to resume his position. He's correct.
If he can catch them.
If he can catch them, yes.
Which he hasn't as of yet.
Yeah, he will be. He's got to be careful because we get towards a yellow flag zone, don't we?
And in fact, if you have a look, there's a TB kart right in the back.
Making his way through.
Not making his way through. And somebody else with their hand in the air. A mechanical issue, possibly, and are we going to see one driver peeling into the pits? Sadly, we do.
Here we go, Henry. Elijah Hazelwood. Will he get jumped again? It's Lewis Gilbert alongside, and he slides wide as Gilbert, but he's in second. as he follows Hazelwood up the hill towards Spoon. It's Hazelwood and Gilbert and everybody else slotting in behind them.
Okay, game on. Lewis Gilbert, the false start. I think it was the number 19 kart of Isaac Jameson who just sort of eased Gilbert wide through the first corner, through Clubhouse Corner, and that cost Gilbert a couple of places. This time, there was a slight brush of nose cone to bumper, but Gilbert was able to knock back out of the gas and stay on track and in second position. So that's game on.
That's Oscar Pitt who's just recovering.
I
think he's pulling that back on the track. I think Oscar's going to... Yeah, all right, he's out of contention. He's just going to enjoy the drive.
Yes. I mean, I did wonder if he was any relation to Ethan Pitt, which would make him Pitt the younger. I did use that joke with Nick Dana, so I thought I'd refresh it.
He's here all week.
Yes.
Yeah, great stuff. There's the lead. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They just keep coming. This train of junior primos with Elijah Hazelwood now leading towards the final stages of the second lap here. He's got Lewis Gilbert with that easy to see bright white nose, the kind of Virgin livery there, not having a sticker kit applied as they go through turn 1 and on up the Dragon Straight towards Spoon. There's no change at all apart from Samuel Yeadon moving ahead of Elijah Hartley and into 9th. That's demoted Hartley down to the top, being the last kart in the top 10.
And we didn't find out which, if any, team Lewis Gilbert the second, is in.
No.
Because but if you're watching it at some of our online viewers, if you know which team that Gilbert is in, or maybe he's running as a private team.
Yeah, it might just be, yeah.
I mean, it looks like Evolution Racing graphics
It's a yellow and blue graphic, isn't it?
Evolution Racing graphics kit. But regardless, this has been extremely impressive because Lewis has not led a lap, but he has been the sole non-X-Kart runner at the sharp end, with guest appearances by Ronnie Legg and Alfie Forrester.
Yes.
But Gilbert has been a constant threat, and this is not being critical of him, even though it's a criticism. He's still prone to moments of inconsistency. He had a spin in the first race. He had a moment wide. He still as many of these drivers are just ironing out those final few minutes. They can all do one fast lap, but in Junior Primo is where you still get drivers working on the ability to do 12 fast laps back to back.
And that, we take for granted the human element, don't we? We expect these drivers, these kids, to just get their, hit their braking points correctly and hit their apexes, and perhaps the Junior Primo class reminds you and I that they're only, the relative inexperience, and it just shows the consistency at the top level of karting, the top level of this sport is very, very consistent. You've got to be absolutely inch perfect for the whole of the race.
Yeah, you try and get into a go-kart that travels at over 70 miles an hour with a sort of a solid rear axle sort of braking system that every time you brake, the kart doesn't want to turn in.
Yeah.
And then you put yourself with 28 other equally as testosterone-fueled, hungry other drivers, all trying to back you tooth and nail, and then you try and hit every apex every single lap and see how you get on.
It's not as easy as these kids make it look.
It is absolutely not. Now Aston Brown. No, there's not. There's not. It's Jaguars. I was going to say Aston Brown's lane. No, it doesn't work because it's wrong car company.
No, I actually don't know where you go with that.
No, I don't either. It was. I started off down the path and realised it was a dead end.
Did you handbrake turn?
I did it. It was a dead end. Yes.
You mentioned Lewis Gilbert spoiling the X-Kart party. I just want to explain to the viewers who might be new to this championship. Those two karts there, the black and white livery, as the leader goes through, the black and white livery karts, they're from the X-Kart team, and they're on the TB chassis, which you can win in a raffle.
Yes,
that you can go online on when you enter for round 4.
Yes,
you can enter the raffle, £10 a ticket. Got it in again. That's twice.
Yeah, that's twice. Well done.
Matty's getting his money's worth. So that kart there, the blue and white one, That's
not.
Lewis Gilbert, and he's not part of that same team.
No, and he's on an X-Free chassis because it's bright orange, which is an OTK product. The TV kart you can win is in the same livery as the number 57, Aston Brown, who is currently in 5th position, because that is the factory TV kart livery.
Can we drop back to that one, Nick? The green kart there, just coming through there, who is being challenged by Alfie Forrester.
Yes,
so that's the kart. That's what you can win.
Yep, the mean green machine.
And it comes with that livery, with the side pods and the fairings and the NASA panel. And you could be the owner of that kart for just a £10 entry fee to a raffle. I bought 20 quid's worth, so I've got 2 chances.
And those chances are magnified every time you mention it. Darren Watson, and that's a sweet concept.
Yeah, well, I'm shooting myself.
No, we shouldn't say that.
I'm shooting myself in the foot, because the more people I encourage to buy a raffle ticket, the less chance I have.
Yeah. The kart behind the TV kart is, I believe, one of the new Pantano chassis, that mustard yellow livery machine. So, the Giorgio Pantano chassis, that has made its debut in Europe and the US last year. Now it's on making its debut here in the UK. That is a bespoke chassis. When I talk about an X-Free or a Lando Norris or a Cosmic, that are all multicoloured.
I know who Giorgio Pantano is.
Yes.
But you might want to... Formula 3000 he got to, didn't he?
Pantano.
On the fringes of Formula 1.
Yes. He did get to Formula 1 with Jordan team for several races.
Did he?
Yep. Got Formula 3000 World Karting Champion, and for many years was the staple American journalists' April Fool's joke, because for many years, April Fool, there would be a team owner who was not a shady character. He would announce that Giorgio Pantano, sponsored by Sunoco Fuels, is entered in the Champ Car World Series, as it was then. And only one journalist that I'm aware of fell for it.
Is that right?
Me.
Oh, really?
I also fell for the classic Kia to enter the Champ Car World Series. It was a long time ago, but yeah.
Maybe the Chump Car World Series.
Yeah, but Giorgio Pantano, a fantastic talent.
We didn't really see what he was capable of in his full career, did we?
No.
He was cut short by lack of funding.
Yes, yeah.
But you could say that about me.
I mean, I did beat Tony Oliuzzi, former World Karting Champion.
Did you really?
In a kart race, yeah.
Did his chain come off, did it?
yeah. He broke down the first lap. No, he didn't finish second behind me. Now, here we go. Back to the action.
It's the 2-minute bell.
Oh, here we go.
It's the 2-minute bell, but it's nicely spaced out.
What have we got?
Yeah,
what have we got?
Nicely spaced out. It's
Lewis?
not changed.
No, now it's time to go, Lewis. This is, if you've been saving anything, this is your time to go. Can Elijah Hazelwood take 2 wins? Now, Hazelwood came out of his kart at another event at Ward Law, got straight back in, tried to get started again. That's after, turning Senna 1 on his head.
I remember.
I remember. And he's a tough cookie. He's bounced back. Chris Harvey looking after him, mechanicking for him. But Gilbert is looking quick on this lap. Last time around, the top 3 drivers all did their personal best laps. Zach Jennings in 3rd place, a 43.11, fastest lap of the race. Gilbert was a smidge quicker than race leader Hazelwood that time around, but to be fair, it's Jennings who is the driver on the rise in terms of lap times.
Here we go then, because Lewis Gilbert is going to be challenged. The driver Zach Jennings there on that black and white X-Kart, he wants to make it an X-Kart 1-2. Lewis Gilbert says, no, I'm going to stand in between you on the podium, and time is running out. So 30 seconds or so on the clock as they cross the line. So it'll be 2 more laps to go. So it'll be the last lap board next time. And look at this, it's coming. Yep. Zach Jennings closing on Lewis Gilbert. He's going to have to wait for the opening, and Gilbert, if he's not careful, is going to have to watch the door being left open, and that door is left wide open at Spoon as they go down the hill to the carousel. And it's this late apex that catches Lewis Gilbert napping, and great drive there from Zach Jennings who was waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, and I've got to say that Gilbert, he might complain, saying, oh, he pushed me out of the way. No, you left the door open, Lewis. Yeah, there may have been a little bit of side pod to side pod touching, but that was because Jennings was already there. You cannot leave a gap like that 2 laps before the end of a main event at this level. Valuable lesson, but now Gilbert, on the last lap, has a chance to return the favour.
Yeah,
can't get it done there, though.
Opportunities running low, as I'm afraid we are running out of time for this one. We're on the last lap now at the carousel for the last time, heading towards turns 5 and 6. Time running out. Gilbert just latching onto the rear bumper of Jennings in that second place. Meanwhile, Elijah Hazelwood, he's the leader, getting into the compression through the Devil's Elbow and onto the final turn for the checkered flag flying. An X-Kart 1 and 2 with Elijah Hazelwood and Zach Jennings taking the win and second place. Lewis Gilbert, he'll be disappointed, I think, Henry, with third. However, it's a strong finish. Isaac Jameson 4th, Aston Brown 5th, Alfie Forrester 6th, Samuel Yeadon, Zach Mackay, Luke Wells. I think that's Hunter Motorsport 8th and 9th there, right there, Zach Mackay and Luke Wells. George Railston. Now, I think I saw George Railston.
Started last.
No, it wasn't that. It was George Railston has got a 5-second penalty. So George finishes 10th. However, that will put him down to only 12th.
And Noah Jones gets a mechanical flag on the last lap, which is unfortunate. Lily Shaw